Can I help you?
I apologize for disturbing you at what is probably the dinner hour. We used to live here. I mean, I was a child in this house. My mother sold it shortly after my father's passing. I was in town for business, so I thought I'd stop by. I haven't been here for 40 years, but I've thought of it often. I've dreamt of it often, never more powerfully than in recent months.
Would you like to come in for a few minutes?
I think I'll just poke around outside here for a while, if you don't mind. That might be sufficient.
Of course, we don't mind. But many things have changed since you were a kid.
Maybe you should go out there with him. He could be anyone, after all. He could be a thief, a mentally disturbed person, even a murderer.
He's just an old man with a slight limp.
We can't bar the door against him. That would be cruel.
What? No one has barred any door against anyone.
Put yourself in his place.
He told me he didn't want to come inside.
Oh, isn't that just like you? It's a beautiful house. I've always enjoyed living here.
The sink is in the same place, of course. And the refrigerator, and the stove. But everything else, it's so modernized, I hardly recognized it. So pleasant. Controlled sort of space. My mother, when we lived here, lovely. Mother had flowers on this countertop too, but I don't ever recall them blooming.
They're probably the kind that don't bloom. Like ivy.
My father was a unique man. Everyone who knew him admired him. He sat here. And Mother there. I don't recall my own place or my sister's, but I suppose it doesn't matter. You have 4 place settings, Mrs. 2 children, I suppose.
Yeah, boy 11, girl 13.
And so too were we. I mean, my sister and me.
Are you and your sister close?
Those are the stairs to the basement, aren't they? There used to be a large water stain here.
Was there?
There was?
Like a shadow creeping down from the rafters. This used to be one of my happy places. At least when Father wasn't around. I'd hide away here for hours, reading. Daydreaming. Staring into the fire. Sometimes Mother would join me if she was in the mood. And we'd plot together. Oh, all sorts of fantastical things. It all comes back to me now. Mother would read to me and tell me stories. And ask me riddles I couldn't answer. Out of what does our life arise? Out of what does consciousness arise? Why are we here? Where is here?
Our daughter used to like to sit there too when she was younger. It is a very lovely place.
I hate riddles.
Is your mother still with us, Mr.?
No, not at all.
Sorry.
We've all been dead. They've all been dead a long time. If I may intrude further, I'd quite like to see my old room.
I'm afraid I don't know what condition the rooms are in, especially the children's. Excuse me.
I used to stare with amazement at the world outside, so altered through this. After such a lesson, it's hard to take the world on its own terms, isn't it?
On what terms should it be taken then?
Oh, none at all. You have 2 children. Why?
Why?
Yes, why? But you love them, of course.
Of course.
Of course, of course.
I'm afraid the children are busy with their schoolwork right now. Perhaps you'd like to come see the master bedroom instead.
So this is your room now. You live here? The same. The same. The walls, the window. ceiling overhead. And the floor beneath. That is what is.
I'm afraid it's getting late. It's almost 6.
Oh, yes. Dinner's almost ready and kids have homework to do.
Oh, yes, I know. I disturbed you terribly. You've been so kind. Let me show you a mathematical riddle. You can take it to your teacher and show them tomorrow. What we call infinity can be contained within a small geometrical figure on a sheet of paper. First you draw a square, then you draw a triangle to fit inside the square, then you draw a second triangle, and a third, and a fourth, each to fit inside the square, but without the points coinciding. And as you continue, here, I'll show you, give me your hand, and I'll show you. As you continue, the border of the triangle's common outline becomes more complex, measuring larger and larger, until you need a magnifying glass to see the details, and then you'll need a microscope, and so on and so forth, forever laying triangles down.
The visit is over.
Please, can I see the basement? Just sit on the steps for a few minutes. You and your family can have your dinner.
No,
I'll just
the visit is over.
We had no choice but to let him in. It was the only decent thing to do. Will you listen to me?
Shut up! We'll forget it.
But
We'll forget it.
fine. I wasn't the one who opened the door to that man in the first place. I wasn't the one, god damn it! You know it!